Right now on Denver 7, it's the final countdown. Just one more day until Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We're taking a look at the last-minute preps before the series starts.
There is a disconnect between available jobs and people with the skills to do them. We'll show you the free training program that could give you a leg up. And as more animals and plants face extinction, we are taking you inside what is known as the Frozen Zoo, how it's working to preserve the cells of endangered species and try to save them.
Thank you so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 4. I'm Jason Grenauer. And I'm excited because we are just about 24 hours away from puck drop, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Now today was media day. We heard from players and coaches on both sides ahead of the start of the series. And Denver 7's Russell Haythorne joins us live now for Ball Arena, where he spent the day, just hanging out with the Stanley Cup. He heard from the Avs as well as some people who cover hockey for a living. Russell, what's the good word?
It was your kind of day, Jason. What a day here at Ball Arena. We heard from all of the players as well as sports reporters from around the world. And quiet now outside Ball Arena. We really haven't seen many fans today because the entire arena was shut down for media day. But can you imagine what it's going to be like here in just 24 hours? I mean, this place is going to be rocking. We have some video to show you from earlier today. Media day kicking off at about 11:30 this morning. And we heard from all of your favorite players. We also talked to some of those sports reporters who have covered the game of hockey for years. Many are excited about being back in this kind of atmosphere after 2 years of COVID restrictions.
It's almost like this odd reunion, especially amongst broadcasters. Like all of us here, we've all seen each other, been around each other, but it's like a nice sort of like party again after a couple years of not having it.
Yeah.
But being able to kind of get the guys out of their comfort zone is what we're all trying to do.
My kids have been really excited. They're really looking forward to it. They've made a lot of friends around Denver, and their friends seem to be excited, and definitely the parents have been, very supportive and excited as well. So it's been great in the community.
That was Colorado Avalanche player Darren Helm, who you heard from there last. He has 3 girls, and he says they're all very excited about this Stanley Cup final. Check it out. They're putting the banner on the side of Ball Arena right now as we speak, a huge Stanley Cup banner on the west side of Ball Arena. This place, again, is going to be rocking here in about 24 hours. Again, we haven't seen many fans out here today because they had the arena primarily blocked off. But tomorrow at noon, the team store will reopen from noon to 3. And then, of course, puck drop at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll follow all the action for you here on the networks of Denver 7. For now, we're live at Ball Arena. Jason, we'll toss it back to you.
Russell sporting the playoff beard, looking real nice. Thank you. Well, fans are going to be able to watch all of the Stanley Cup final games out at the Tivoli Quad. That's on the Auraria campus right across the street from Ball Arena. Now, we were there yesterday when tents and other things were getting set up. Tivoli was the first watch party approved by the city of Denver under its temporary permitting process.
Personally, I think we're going to have an amazing party. The initial play was 4 bars. Now we're at 8. So we're making moves in the right direction.
Watch party at the Tivoli Quad is free, but you do have to pay for food and drinks. Chopper Circle over at Ball Arena and McGregor Square near Coors Field have also applied to host watch parties. And when it comes to betting, odds makers pick the Avs to win the Stanley Cup right from the start of the season. And today, that remains the same. Most sportsbooks have the Avalanche favored to win the Stanley Cup, with the series lasting the full 7 games. And we know just how much Coloradans are liking the new sports betting law. A state audit found that between May of 2020 and May of 2021, bettors in Colorado wagered about $2.3 billion on sporting events. Now, Denver 7 is your home for the Stanley Cup Final. Our game day coverage will begin at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Our Brian Sanders will be out at Ball Arena. Jason Luber will have your traffic updates from downtown. Then throughout the day on Denver 7 Plus, we'll keep you updated with all the Avs content that you need. Then our official pregame show is at 5:30. The game itself to follow right here on Denver 7. Then make sure to catch the Denver 7 postgame show as soon as the game ends. Some other news now. You can weigh in tonight on Aurora's search for a new police chief. Right now, the city is operating under a consent decree. The order requires the department to improve its training, use of force, and other policies. The city hired a search firm and wants to hear from the community about what qualities, experiences, and values people want to see in the next police chief.
The police chief obviously is one of the most high-profile positions in city government and counted on to act, I should say, and respond to the community, sometimes in very difficult situations, but also a lot of times in very positive ways.
Tonight's public meeting is from 6 to 8 at the City Council chambers. You can also call into that meeting or watch it online. The city plans to name a new chief this fall.
You may have heard the term bear market this week in relation to the stock market. Now, if you have investments, you know it's been tough. A bear market is when an index like the S&P 500 or even an individual stock falls 20% or more from a recent high for a sustained period of time. Now, the last bear market happened in February to March of 2020, and that was actually the shortest one ever. On average, this type of market can last at least a year. Rising interest rates because of a high inflation are causing problems for the stock market. Now, the Federal Reserve could make its biggest interest rate increase since 1994 this week. It started 2 days of meetings today. Now, many were expecting rates would go up by a 0.5 percentage point. Now, there's talk of possibly raising interest rates by 0.75 percentage point. That is because of recent data showing inflation is just sticking around more than the Fed had hoped.
The Fed can't resolve all of the contributors to inflation that include everything from, what we've been talking about for almost 2 years now, supply chain disruptions, obviously the war in Ukraine, the latest insult to injury with inflation, and sort of all the things in between. What the Fed can do is target demand, bring demand down by making things more expensive. And we'll see how that works out in the coming months.
Interest rate hikes already in place are having an impact. Borrowing of all kinds is now more expensive. The housing market has slowed down. Mortgage applications are at the lowest level in decades. The Fed is hoping consumer spending goes down, which means companies would stop increasing prices so much that they can hold on to customers. Now, job growth is expected to slow a bit as well, but economists say it is a tricky balance of reducing inflation without causing a recession. And if the Fed's policy works, you are going to see a period of time that looks like what's known as stagflation, but may not actually be.
Which is this period of time where inflation really hasn't started to come down yet, but it's flattening at this sort of high level. But business activity is beginning to fall. So that's going to bring inflation down, but it hasn't really come down yet. And so at this plateau level, you're going to have lower economic activity and inflation that's still high.
Now, she says if that continues for a while, that is when stagflation is a concern. But she says in some places, we are in a better place now. When we saw stagflation back in the 1970s, one factor now is not many people get automatic cost of living adjustments for their pay like they used to. With earnings not keeping up with rising prices, that means demand is unlikely to pass supply, which would be a factor for stagflation. Now, a lot of people say they're just being passed over for jobs recently because they don't have the needed skills. We'll show you the free training program that is working to shrink that skills gap.
They taught me things that I did not know. How to speak to a guest, how to speak to a client, those type of things.
Important skills. We'll talk about the success that she and others are now seeing from investing in themselves.
Plus, safety concerns at some of Colorado's most popular outdoor sites. Up next, the closures you need to know about.